Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. Today we're talking about smart TVs. Of course, we flip on the TV to stream our favorite movies, shows, and sports. But the latest TV technology could also help us stay healthy with access to telehealth and virtual clinics.
Our guest today is Patrick Pannett. He's the Director of Industry Communications for the Consumer Technology Association. He's going to help guide us through smart TV technology that's available right now and what's on the horizon.
We'll also talk about what TV shoppers can expect this holiday season, and we'll get a little inside information about CES 2024 coming up in January, where all of the latest and greatest consumer electronics will be on display.
This is On Your Side with Susan Campbell and Gary Harper, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Susan, you look very nice today.
Oh, thank you.
These look like new clothes.
I do the Rent the Runway.
You do?
So it's something fun all the time.
Our listeners can't see you, but it's kind of like a blue-white checkered board outfit.
A tweed suit.
Yeah. I like it.
You always have the bright colors.
I've got
in
the golf
your polo,
shirt.
so I have to bring it too.
I'm a polo guy, in case you haven't noticed it out of all these years.
It's perfect for Phoenix.
I mean, well, it is, even in the wintertime. It's, no long sleeves on this guy.
Can't complain.
Hey, are you what I would call a gadget person? Electronic? Are you really electronic-y or...
No.
Kind of?
You're kind of putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
So I like electronics, but I'm not great at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit of a cheapskate too, so I'm never going to go out and seek out like the latest and greatest thing.
Right.
I need to give it a little time,
Yeah.
let somebody else pay those super high prices, and then I'll come into the market maybe a little bit later and buy.
What about the iPhone? What number do you got? You didn't go out and get the 15. I guarantee you did
Gary,
not.
you are you're embarrassing me. My personal phone, so I have a work phone that I use mostly.
Okay.
My personal phone, I think, is the iPhone 8.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my goodness. I should not have asked that question.
I know, you just embarrassed me.
Well,
I told you I'm a cheapskate.
You were honest. And you know what? It gets by, right? I mean, it's fine.
It works-ish.
So we're talking about electronics, something Susan really doesn't know that much about.
We're talking about TVs. I did just buy a new TV.
You did?
Again, not the way crazy top of the line,
right.
But it was time. My husband and I had a television in our, main family room area that was, I think, his before we got married.
Right.
So
wow, okay.
Lots of years. It was lots of years old. It was time.
It's football season. You need a big TV, right?
Honestly, that's what happened. We were watching a game, and I was like, this is not cutting it. I really want to see
how
a
big?
better.
55-inch?
We went for 65.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, she's moving on up.
I'm trying. That's why I don't have a new iPhone, Gary.
Well, all your money went to the TV, so enjoy it. We got about another 3/4 of the season left, so we'll see what happens. So my wife just bought something electronic, I guess you could say, and it was delivered yesterday, and I was not expecting this. Remember I told you she
likes to order.
She likes Amazon, and she's getting something every day. Do you know what she got yesterday and put together? We have 2 dogs. We talked about this before. She likes to keep an eye on them. I don't know if it's them or me while she's gone. And she got one of those little, it's a camera with treats. So you can talk to your dogs, and then you can use your app to spit out the treats.
Just check in on them, make sure they know they're loved.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So she did it yesterday, and it really it spits it out like 6 feet, and they get all excited.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
I love that.
So that's about as far as I go with electronics.
We need help.
We do need help, and for that help, we were going to Patrick Pannett. He's the director. Excuse me, Patrick. He's the Director of Industry Communications for Consumer Technology Association. That is a mouthful. How are you today, Patrick?
Great to be with you, Susan and Gary. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, so I guess you know a little something about electronics, right? What kind of electronics do you have?
You name it. I'm probably a little bit ahead of Susan in terms of the iPhone and the Android phones I carry, but I just get so excited by the waterfront of technology that we have, especially being here in LA. We have literally the best of today I heard Susan mention 65-inch TV. That's basically the standard size of a TV in America today. So people that are upgrading to the 4K set, they're getting a 65, and you have it at every price level. So it's a pretty exciting time to get into the right TV and put together the right tech and entertainment mix that makes it right for you.
We are a couple weeks late to the party for me, but for our other listeners, walk us through how to shop for a smart TV right now. What are the things that people need to look for, the keywords to keep in mind? Because I feel like there are just so many options, and it can feel a little confusing.
It can be really confusing. It is acronym soup out there. But let me give you a couple of key acronyms. You don't need to know what they mean, but they're things worth looking for. And a couple of them are 4K. So that is the picture technology. So 4K is 4 times your older HD picture TV. So you're going to have so much more vibrancy, depth, color resolution. So you want to look for that 4K. You also want to look for a term called HDR. And what HDR gives you is really great shadow resolution. Pictures aren't washed out. You can really dive in and see the detail in the picture. Many TVs will have what's called Dolby Atmos. Think about when you're at the theater and you hear the sound, the train or the plane whooshes over your head, the booms come beside you. You can now get that in your home from many TVs, but also the sound bars that attach to them. And many of these features, basically every TV today is a smart TV. So most of these features are available in sort of entry level, out of the box, up to the highest end TVs, costing some of them up to $200,000.
Ooh, that's pricey.
So if you're looking for a smart TV, 4K is the way to go, and also HDR is the way to go. And if you want Dolby, that's certainly a good option. So those 3 things are a go-to, or maybe a kind of a must-have if you're looking for a new smart TV, correct?
I would say that's the baseline for today on those features. Just about every TV over 37 inches today will be a 4K TV. So you're going to get into a 4K TV pretty much out the box. Most of them will be smart as well. After that, it's more about what do you want to add into it. Well, let's say you're a gamer, which is one of America's fastest growing pastimes, and around the world as well. You want to look at what's called the refresh rate. Think about a football game when you're watching the spiral on the football as it gets thrown. That's something that a faster refresh rate is going to make that real. And especially when you're gaming, you need that quick refresh rate. And so you're looking for a TV with 120 or 240 hertz of resolution, and they're going to give you that speed to play that game or really get into that sports game.
How about 8K? I know that is an option that is becoming really readily available, obviously a little bit more expensive, but there are so many places that don't actually shoot on 8K. Is it worth it to jump into that technology before maybe the picture kind of matches the technology that our television could handle?
That's a great question, Susan, and here's why. There's a feature in most 4K TVs, and especially 8Ks, it's called upscaling. So what that does is, let's say you're watching a DVD or just broadcast news or anything streaming, it's going to use AI and other technologies and processors within the TV to elevate that picture quality to 8K. 8K, of course, being many times higher quality than 4K even. So if you want to future-proof, that's a great way to go. That's going to give you and a lot of content is getting shot in 8K today. We're just not necessarily seeing it out there yet, but it is coming. So I think if you really want to kind of take that step into the future, 8K is probably a good way to go for you. It's certainly not to diminish the 4K, but it's certainly gonna really help you have that eye on the future, especially as we think about content shot in IMAX and 70 mil, as we saw with Oppenheimer. You'll be able to bring that big screen experience home, just like in the theater.
Patrick, I'm all about the money. It's all about the bottom line. So what are we looking at here for, throwing some cash out at a new smart TV, let's say 65-inch? How much can we expect to pay?
Well, we're coming into holiday season. Half the country still has to upgrade to a 4K TV. We're probably going to see them starting 65, probably about $300 on some of the holiday specials. But of course, it's all about the features you want. You can go up to, I have a 98-inch behind me. That's about $7,000. I have a beautiful OLED screen. And what OLED, we didn't really touch on that. That's going to be more in the line of a couple of thousand. But what that does, it gives you these beautiful, deep, blackest blacks. And the other nice thing is if you have a lot of people over at the house, what you get with an OLED TV is the ability to kind of see the picture really nicely from every angle. Sometimes you might have someone come and look at the computer monitor and they can't see until they get right next to you. With the OLED screen, you can see it from pretty much any angle in front of it. And that's a really compelling thought for someone that's looking for a feature like that.
What is the future of TV technology? I mean, you're telling us about so many cool features that are available right now, but where are we going? What should we expect in the next few years out of televisions?
Happening behind me, Susan. This TV, let's say I spend a day maybe watching TV, working on some documents, doing some streaming, but I really want to get into my streaming gaming on Amazon Luna. This monitor has just curved. Hopefully you caught that. And so that really gives, if I have a great pair of Bluetooth headphones, that's going to give me a great experience to just jump in. We're also going to see wireless, transparent, foldable, rollable TVs. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of foldable phones right now, and there's just going to be a lot more of that. We're also seeing new and innovative ways that the content is being delivered and what sort of content. There are so many thousands of titles available for streaming. And what I love is that so much of this is accessible now. Let's say you want to listen in a different language, or you want an audio description, or you need low vision features, or AI captions that move the captions based on and don't detract from the quality of the picture of the screen. All of this is just going to continue to become more integrated in our lives and just more seamless and out the box and easy for us.
Well, what about in the short term? Coming up on the holidays, and this may be a little too short of a term, but is there anything new or crazy coming out that many consumers don't really know about yet for the holidays and TVs?
I mean, I think, Gary, for the holidays, what we're going to see this year, our research is telling us that we're going to see a lot of accessories. People are huge into Bluetooth headphones or AirPods, that they're looking into adding devices around the house. It could be smart home components or like a Ring doorbell or a camera and other features like that. From sort of the TV and entertainment space, I think we're going to see a lot of people investing in the content, whether that's their Amazon subscription or they're buying an Xbox Live subscription, things like that. That's probably where we're going to see some of the trends or other peripherals to go along with that. Maybe they're going to connect the TV to their Zwift or their Peloton bike or other fitness apps and use the TV with accessories to help them with their health and fitness. I think that's we're going to see a lot more of that integration for health and fitness, and down the road into telehealth as well, potentially being able to meet with your physician or sending data back safely and securely in real time to be able to take care of your health. I think we're going to see a lot of that at CES 2024. In addition to, I can't not say it, AI. Obviously, AI has been out there for years. It's been helping us buy products online. It's been making recommendations for what to watch next. We're going to see a continuation of that as the technology refines, but also helps us with our health and safety. It's maybe looking at trends and coming back and saying, you know what, your heart rate's not quite right, or your blood pressure's high. Maybe you should get that looked at next. So I think we're going to see a lot around some health and technology for good, and especially sustainability going into CES 2024 and the holidays.
I want to talk about both of those things. First, though, let's jump into how a smart TV could actually maybe help with our health. You mentioned telemedicine appointments and things like that. Walk me through, for somebody who is listening to this at home and is trying to wrap their brains around exactly how this might work for them, and maybe have some privacy concerns about all of the stuff that goes along with this. How does that actually work?
And this is a field that is very, very much emerging. I think what we're going to see is additional accessories and, all very compliant stuff that would be provided by medical officials. This generally isn't going to be stuff that you're going to buy off the shelf. Initially, it may be prescribed. What we want to do is just make it more easy and accessible to get healthcare on your terms. That's a lot. We do a lot of work in that front at the Consumer Technology Association, making sure that devices, that the AI is secure, that the underlying privacy is secure, even down to cyber labeling for devices. Now, that's kind of getting a little bit technical again here, but in time, probably in 2024, we're going to start seeing logos on packaging that are going to tell you with a QR code that you'll be able to scan to learn about the cybersecurity of your devices. So it's about transparency and openness, and I think that's what's required to be able to eventually have a full telehealth visit, sharing real-time data through the TV or even through your home, that we agree that data has to be protected and secure all the way through.
And we have to talk about CES 2024 also. This is when all of the kind of really amazing
cool
stuff comes out. I went last year.
Yeah. What jumped out at you last year? They're like, wow, that's crazy.
It was so fascinating. I think what's so incredible is just the wide range of products. I mean, we talked about automotive technology. We talked about EVs. We talked about beauty technology. There were things that were 3D printing eyebrows onto people's faces.
Oh my gosh.
It's just such a wide range.
Yeah.
And that sounds maybe a little silly when I say it, but it's actually for people who have maybe a limitation, a physical limitation, but still want to feel really beautiful about themselves.
Right. Wow.
So there are all these applications, and so cool. And you said it, AI, like that really wasn't a huge part of the show last year. I'm planning to go again this year, and I can't wait to see how AI is a part of everything else. What else should we be looking out for? What shouldn't I miss?
You've hit on a few of my favorite topics already. Beauty tech is really emerging, and that story is about inclusivity for all. CES 2024 will feature the first keynote by a beauty company. L'Oreal will be on the keynote stage at CES. You may have also seen at the show in 2023, the Hapter, helping people with limited mobility or tremors, for example, to be able to apply lipstick in a good way. We're going to see a continued evolution of that sort of global technology story about inclusivity and access. You talked about automotive, mobility. We're going to see autonomous vehicles, flying electric vehicles. This is also the show where everything converges from the companies that make the sensors in the radar so that they can be communicating safely, to the 5G chips that power the communication, to the tires and the digital chassis of the cars. We saw BMW and Stellantis keynote at CES this year. We'll see more automotive major announcements next year, including companies like John Deere, who are revolutionizing and thinking about sustainable farming and technology for good. The UN just last week announced that technology is now a pillar of human right, that access to technology is now so fundamental to succeed and live well and prosper in the world that they've made it the 8th pillar of human security. So that's pretty huge, that technology is now having that much impact in our lives that the UN is looking at it.
Man, this world is just moving way too fast sometimes.
A little too fast for my iPhone 8.
I mean, we're going to have to upgrade that, Susan. We'll see. But I mean, 10 years ago, maybe 15, if you would have said we were going to have self-driving cars, it just seemed like so far in the future. And now we have self-driving cars.
Real. Yeah.
And now Patrick just mentioned flying cars. That seems so like...
Jetsons.
Yeah, the Jetsons, right. And
it's real.
And it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So it's crazy how fast we are, changing in technology and, AI and everything else that goes along with it. Patrick, thanks so much for being on the On Your Side podcast. If people want to know more about you or Consumer Technology Association, are any websites or social media, anything you want to throw out there?
Of course, if you want to learn about the Consumer Tech Association, just go to cta.tech. But more importantly, I think you just keep your eyes on the news. Second week of January, CES 2024. Come out and learn what's next. Las Vegas is going to be lit up, and we are all on for it.
I'll see you there.
You will see Susan there. So very exciting. And hopefully by that time, she'll have an upgraded phone. We'll check back with her to see. Take it easy, Patrick. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.